Okay. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
So today we'll start with all the disease condition. Okay. So first I will start with schizophrenia. So, uh, Emil Karpelin, an eminent psychiatrist in 1896, formed the concept of dementia paradox or mental deterioration. Okay. This person, Emily, he has first discovered this concept. So the first word schizophrenia was coined or discovered in 1911 by a Swiss psychiatrist called Eugen. Okay, Swiss Eugen Bleuler. It is derived from the Greek word schizoid means split and phrena means mind. So the schizophrenia was first coined by the psychiatrist Eugen Bleuler. So this was the first psychiatrist who has discovered this disease. So Kurt Sisnider described 11 symptoms collectively called as first-rank symptoms, whose presence or absence of a course of brain disease was diagnostic of schizophrenia. So later on, I will discuss about these 11 first-rank symptoms. So if any of these 2 or 3 symptoms are present in any human being, then we can say that this person is having the disorder called schizophrenia. So schizophrenia is a psychotic condition characterized by disturbance in thinking, emotion, volitions, and faculties in the presence of clear consciousness, which usually lead to social withdrawal. So in schizophrenia, it is a psychotic condition. Okay. So where it is characterized by what characteristic will be there? There is a disturbance in thinking. So in last class, I already told you there are so many disturbances and thinking already I explained you. So those disturbances may be present, then disturbance of emotions will be present, disturbance of volitions will be present, and which results in the patient will be fully conscious. Okay, these problems will come in the presence of the clear consciousness, and which usually leads to social withdrawal. With the presence disturbance in thinking, emotions, volitions, the person will be social withdrawal. Means because after presenting all these symptoms, characteristics, the person will go in social withdrawal, or you can say isolation. That is called definition of schizophrenia. Let's come to the classification. So according to DSM-4 classification, there at least 2 or more characteristic symptoms must be present for a particular portion or part of time during a 1 month period. So according to DSM-4 classification, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these symptoms are there. From these 5 symptoms, any at least minimum means 2 symptoms should be present, so that we can say that the person is having schizophrenia. Okay, and these symptoms should be last minimum for 1 month of duration. So these symptoms are delusion, hallucination, disorganized speech, grossly disorganized or catatonic behavior, negative symptoms such as flat affect, algoia, or evaluation. So out of these 5 symptoms, any 2 symptoms should be present in the patient and for a minimum duration of 1 month. Then we can diagnose the patient is having schizophrenia. So according, there are actually 2 classifications. Okay, one is DSM-4 and another is ICD-10. According to the ICD-10 classification, there are some classifications are there. F20 to F29, that is called schizophrenia, schizotypal and delusional disorder. F20 schizophrenia, F20.0 paranoid schizophrenia, F20.1 hebephrenic schizophrenia, F20.2 catatonic schizophrenia, F20.3 undifferentiated schizophrenia, F20.4 post-schizophrenic depression, F20.5 residual schizophrenia, F20.6 simple schizophrenia, F21 schizotypal disorder. So this classification is according to ICD-10, and this classification is very important, okay, for the exam also. So in exam, if the classification is come, so you write according to ICD-10, and these numbers, okay, this number you should write, okay, F20, F20.0, F20.1, these numbers are also important, because in the hospital setting, they will not write this, the type. They will only, in the diagnosis, they will only write like F20.1. So you have to know the what does F20.1 mean. So this is the ICD-10 classification for schizophrenia. Next, come to the epidemiology. So schizophrenia is the most common of all psychiatric disorders, okay, and is prevalent in all cultures across the world. So it is not like that. It's this schizophrenia is more in India, in not less in European country. It is not like that. So schizophrenia is common of all psychiatric disorder. It is the most common disorder in psychiatry, and it's prevalent in all cultures across the world. About 15% of new admission in mental hospitals are schizophrenic patients. So out of 100% admission, 15% of new admissions in mental hospital are mostly diagnosed with schizophrenia. It has been estimated that patient diagnosis as having schizophrenia occupy 50% of all mental hospital beds. Okay, so schizophrenic patients occupy 50% of all mental hospital beds. When you will get posting for in mental health block, you will see that the most patients will be diagnosed with schizophrenia, and out of, suppose in a hospital 100 beds are there, 50 beds are already occupied by schizophrenic patients only. About 3 to 4 per 1,000 in every community suffer from schizophrenia. So in 1,000 people, 3 to 4 persons are suffer from schizophrenia. About 1% of the general population stand the risk of developing this disease in their lifetime. Okay, this anyway I am telling. So from the general population, like us, from the general population, 1% are at the risk of developing schizophrenia in their life. We are 1% of the general population is at risk. And one more thing, schizophrenia is equivalent in schizophrenia is equivalent in both men and women. Okay, it is men also can suffer from schizophrenia, and women also can suffer from schizophrenia. It is equivalent in both men and women. The peak age, so about 2/3 of the cases are in the age group of 15 to 30 years. So in between 15 to 30 years means there are 2/3 cases are in the age group of 15 to 30 case. Okay, means more than half is in the mental disorder. They are 15 to 30 years people, they are suffer from schizophrenia. Then men peak age onset are 15 to 25 years. So who are within 15 to 25 years, they are more prone to suffer from schizophrenia. And women who are 25 to 35 years of age, they in this age group, they are more prone to suffer from schizophrenia. So these diseases are very much common in lower economic groups. So it is usually common in the lower economic, means who are poor people, they are more prone to develop this disorder. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now come to the etiology. See, etiology, actually the cause of schizophrenia is still uncertain. We cannot say that this 100% surety, we cannot say that this will lead to schizophrenia. But still some factors are involved in this disorder. For example, according to biological theories, like biochemical factors like dopamine hypothesis. This theory suggests that an excess of dopamine-dependent neuronal activity in the brain may cause schizophrenia. Okay, so according to the dopamine hypothesis, this theory suggests that an excess of dopamine dependent neuronal activity, okay, dopamine dependent neuronal activity in the brain may cause schizophrenia. So when there is an excess of dopamine dependent neuronal activity in the brain happens, this may lead to schizophrenia, but that is not 100% true. This is a factor. As I told, as you know, we can say that smoking may cause lung cancer, but all smoker will not develop the lung cancer. It's but who do smoking, they are more prone to develop lung cancer. So it is the same way. It is not like that the person who are means in the person brain, if dopamine dependent neural activity is more, the person is 100% will develop schizophrenia. It is not like that. This is just a factor. They may are having higher chance to develop schizophrenia. Then other biochemical hypotheses, various other biochemicals have been implicated in the predisposition to schizophrenia. This include abnormalities in the neurotransmitter neuroepinephrine, serotonin, and gamma aminobutyric acid, and neuroregulators such as prostaglandin and endorphins. So abnormalities in these neurotransmitters, okay, in these neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, serotonin, acetylcholine, and gamma aminobutyric acid, if there is an abnormality in these neurotransmitter, the person may suffer from schizophrenia. And abnormality in the neuroregulators like prostaglandin and endorphins, if there is an abnormality in these neuroregulators, these are secreted in the brain, okay. If there is a abnormality in this, then also the person may suffer from schizophrenia. This is according to the biochemical theories. Next is according to the genetic factors. So more common among people born of consanguineous marriages. So consanguineous marriages means what? Any idea? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
So any idea what do you mean by consanguineous marriage? In psychology, you have studied, I think, in the first year.
Don't know, ma'am.
You don't know. This means within the marriage within the relatives. It happens like in South. They marry with with their own cousin brothers, cousin sisters. They married with their own mama. They married. I think it happens in the some, if they are in your classmates, so many Muslim girls are there, na? In Muslim culture also they used to marry with their own cousins. So it is more common among people who people born of consanguineous marriage, because when they marry in their own clan or in their own families, the genetic problems becomes more. So when the baby born with the consanguineous marriage, they may suffer from this disorder. Then identical twins affected 50%. Okay, then fragmented twins affected 15%. Brother or sister affected 10%. One parent means one parent affected 15%. Means if one parent is having schizophrenia and suppose mother is having schizophrenia, but the father is not having, then the chances are there, 15% of chances are there the child may have schizophrenia. If any brother or sisters are affected, is having schizophrenia, it is the 10% chances is there that his siblings may develop schizophrenia. If both parents are schizophrenic parents, okay, both parents are having this disorder, then 35% chances are there that their children may suffer from schizophrenia. Second degree relatives affect 2 to 3%. Second degree means suppose my father, brother, son. Okay, that is a second degree relative. Suppose my father means my chacha son. We are second degree relative. So they are having, if death relatives are having schizophrenia, there are 2 to 3% chances are there. I may also develop schizophrenia. But in general population, 1% chances is there. The 1% chances is there that the person may develop schizophrenia. So understood these ratios?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then perinatal risk factor. So maternal influenza, if mother is having influenza, maternal during pregnancy period, then the child may develop schizophrenia. The birth during late winter, early spring, okay. There's a chance of developing schizophrenia. Then complication of pregnancy, particularly during labor and delivery. If there's a complication during labor and delivery, the child may suffer from schizophrenia. So these are the perinatal risk factors. Next, come to the psychodynamic theories. According to developmental theories, according to Freud, in psychosexual development, oral stage regression present along with that denial, projection, and reaction formation. So the individual have poor ego boundaries, fragile ego, inadequate ego development, super ego dominance, regression ID ego, love-hate relationship, and arrested psychosocial development. So according to Freud, in oral stage, if these problems are there, okay, if repression, denial, projection, reaction, formation, this development, these defense mechanisms, okay, these defense mechanisms are not been gratified, then the individual will develop poor ego boundaries. His ego will be poor. Then their ego development will be inadequate, okay. Then regress ego, then love-hate relationship will be developed, then arrested psychosexual development. Because of this, the person may develop schizophrenia. Then next is family theories. So in family theories, mother-child relationship, the mother of schizophrenic, okay, according to mother-child relationship, the mothers of schizophrenic as cold, overprotective, domineering, thus retarded the ego development of the child. Means if there's if the relation between mother and child is very cold, cold means it is not warm. The love and affection is not there, or overprotective nature is there. Overprotection, okay. Overprotection means, you know, what do you mean by overprotection? Hello. हेलो, सुनाई दे रहा है कि नहीं दे रहा है? हेलो, हेलो.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you mean by overprotection?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give an example of overprotection?
Our protection by parents, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what overprotection means. Suppose a girl or boy want to go to shopping, the mother or father also behind him. They will not let the child do anything by themselves. Okay, these are the overprotective behavior. Or domineering means dominated. If they want to do something, the father or mother will dominate them. Okay, they will not allow the child to take his own simple decisions also. Those are dominating natures. So if their mother and children has that type of nature, they are not friendly, their relationship is very cold, their love is not there, or excessive overprotection is there, excessive love is there, but which is not normal. So in that case, the ego development of the child is not happen, okay. This ego development, the child will be retarded, okay. Then the child may suffer from schizophrenia. That is mother child relationship. Then dysfunctional family system. Hostility between parents can lead to a schizophrenic daughter. Means hostility means if the mother and father both their relationships are not good. Okay, they are always fighting, complaining, they don't talk to each other properly. So if there is a hostility between the parents, if there is not a good relationship between the parents, so the daughter may suffer from the schizophrenia. The double bind communication. If always the parents are conveying two or more conflicting incompatible messages at the same time, then the child may suffer from schizophrenia. They will not able to understand what type of message the parents want to give to the child. For example, if a small child is suppose 3 and 4 years of age, if a small child, the parents are telling don't play, don't make the room dirty, go and play. So there will be a conflict between the two messages. The parents is telling go and play, but don't make yourself dirty. So it is not possible. Suppose if they are playing outdoor, definitely they will get dirty. They will play outside. They may fall in the ground. All these things. So the parents is telling you go and play also, but you should not be dirty. So this is the two conflicting messages. Like if this type of conflicting message always the parents are conveying to the children, okay, to the child, so they will be confused what to do, what not to do. So there's maybe the chance of schizophrenia. Understood? The double blind, it is not blind, okay, it is bind, bind, bind communication, double bind communication. So understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is called double bind communication. Next come stress vulnerability model, or you can say stress diathesis model. Okay. So according to this model, for the integration of biological, psychological, environmental factors, a person may have a specific vulnerability that when acted on by stressful influence allows the symptoms of schizophrenia to develop. So according to this model, when there is a stressful situation, okay, according to this model, when there is a stress is there, if the person is biologically vulnerable, like all the previous, okay, like this problem may be there, they are genetically suppose one brother is affected or mother is having schizophrenia, the child may suffer. So if there is a biological vulnerability who are very much prone to develop those diseases, if the stress is there, if the stress is more in their life, they may show the symptoms of schizophrenia. Or if the stress is more, but if they are not able to, their coping skills is also not effective, like in developmental theories. According to development, when they are coping, these things are coping skills. When their coping skills are not mature, like in mother-child relationship, according to family theories, when their coping skills are not developed, then those person may develop the symptoms of schizophrenia. Understood? Biological vulnerable. Who are biological vulnerable people? Tell me. Who are biological vulnerable people? Stress means all of you understood? No, stress means all of you understood. No, stress means. Then who
Yes,
are
ma'am.
biologically vulnerable people? These are biologically vulnerable people. Understood? The son or daughter, the child of consanguineous marriage, then twins, Then brother or sister who are affected their sister. Suppose my brother is schizophrenic, so I am vulnerable. Suppose my one parent is schizophrenic, so I am vulnerable. If both parents are schizophrenic, the son is vulnerable. Okay, so these are the vulnerable people. So when their biological vulnerability is there and their coping skill is not developed, why coping skill is not developed? Because of the faulty mother-child relationship, dysfunctional family system. When there is a family system is not proper, when there is always fighting or and all fighting like relationship between the parents, when their mother child relationship is not good, when they are double bind communications are there. So these are the in this situation the child will not able to develop the coping skills. Okay, in these situations, if the mother child relationship is not good, the child will not able to develop the coping skills. If their family is dysfunctional, family is disturbed, okay, the child will not able to develop a proper coping skill. If there is a double bind communication is there, then also the child will not able to develop the coping skill. So when the coping skill is not good, they will show the symptoms of schizophrenia. Understood now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then next is social factors. So, studies have shown that schizophrenia is more prevalent in areas of high social morbidity and disorganization, especially among members of a very low socio-economic class. So, who are very poor, okay, where social morbidity is very high, there is a disorganization, like in slum areas, okay. All in that areas, the schizophrenia is more prevalent. Then stressful life event also can precipitate in the disease in predisposed individuals. So some stressful life events, if their stress is more in little bit stress is present in all the life, but when the stress is very much excess, that time also and that time also they are the predisposing factors to develop the schizophrenia. When in one life, suppose in my life, if stress is very much high, I cannot cope with the stressful situation, then I may also develop the schizophrenia. So these are the social factors. So these all are the etiological factors of schizophrenia. The etiology of schizophrenia, these biological theories, then genetic theories, then perinatal risk factors, then developmental theories, family theories, and stress vulnerability model or social factors. These are the etiology of schizophrenia. So psychopathology. So as I told you earlier, person who are having genetic predisposition, like as I told you that in etiology, if one parent is schizophrenic, if one both present are schizophrenic, so these are the genetic predisposition. If genetic predisposition is there and the environmental, social and psychological factors are not supportive or not good, they may develop to neurodevelopmental abnormalities and target feature. They will develop neurodevelopmental abnormalities which may lead to brain dysfunction and improper balance of chemical which may lead to schizophrenia. Understood? The genetic predisposition, those person who are having genetic predisposition, or genetic predisposition means this one, okay, these genetic factors, this one. When the genetic predisposition are there and environmental, social and psychological factors, these are these family also, social factors, psychological factors, developmental factors, these all factors are there, then there will be neurodevelopmental abnormalities, they will develop and target features and which may lead to brain dysfunction. Their brain will not work properly, there which may lead to improper balance of chemicals. Okay, then improper balance of chemical means there will be excess dopamine dependent neural activity will be there. Then there will be abnormality in neurotransmitters, okay, and neuroregulators will be there. This which due to this the person may develop schizophrenia. Understood? Hello. Understood or not
Yes,
this
ma'am.
psychopathology? I will tell
Yes, ma'am.
anyone if you okay. If you understood, then good. Again, I am telling. See, these genetic factors are already I explained. Who are means children with one schizophrenic parents, both schizophrenic. These are the genetic factors. Then environmental factors are like mother-child relationship, dysfunctional family system, double-bind communication, and all social factors. If these things both will combine, and this will lead to neurodevelopmental abnormality and target feature, which may lead to brain dysfunction, okay, and improper balance of chemical. Like dopamine will excessive dopamine activity and abnormality in neurotransmitter and neuroregulators will happen, which may lead to schizophrenia. Next, come to the phases of schizophrenia. There are three phases: prodromal phases, psychotic phases, or residual or chronic phases. So, in prodromal phases, decline in the functioning that precedes first psychotic episode. Okay. Then social withdrawal or irritability will be there. Then physical complaint will be there, and newfound interest in religion and occult. Then in pre-psychotic or acute phase, positive symptoms are there. Perceptual disturbance, auditory hallucination, this will be there. Then in delusions, they are secondary, and delusion of reference will be common. Then in disordered thought process or content process will be there. So disorder in thought process, disorder content process, already I explained in the last 2 or 3 classes. Okay. In residual chronic phases occur between episodes of psychosis marked by negative symptoms like flat affect and social withdrawal or thinking and behavior. This thing will be come in residual and chronic phases. So there are total 3 phases. So first is prodromal, psychotic, and residual. So today only 4 minutes are left. So who are present? Wait, Star Queen. Okay, Star Queen, tell me your roll number. Star Queen, your roll number.
Yes, ma'am. Roll number 20.
20. Naina.
Present, ma'am.
Naina, your roll number.
Ma'am, 17.
Rekiba Sultana Rahman.
Ma'am, roll number 19.
Minam. Minam Panging. Hasina, roll number.
Ma'am, roll number 7.
Roll number 7. Then A Kankharmavi.
Roll number 1, ma'am.
Roll number 1. Anjuwara.
Roll number 3, ma'am.
Varsha.
Roll number 5, ma'am.
Hasina ki koisila roll number 2.
Ma'am, roll number 7.
Oh, Hasina roll number 7, no? Anjuwara kola
Ma'am, 3.
Then Hatning Lenthang, your roll number?
Yes, ma'am. Roll number 8.
Roll number 8. And Jolly?
Yes, ma'am.
Roll number 2, ma'am.
Roll number 2.
Roll number 2.
Then Khadija?
Yes, ma'am. Roll number 10.
Roll number 10. Then Hamar?
Ma'am, roll number 12.
12. Millie?
15, ma'am.
16.
15, ma'am.
Okay, 15. Who are left? Anybody left? 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One more is left. Who? Roll number 20, 17, 19, 7, 1, 3, 5, 8, 2, 10, 12, 15. Anybody left?
Ma'am, roll number 16, Minam.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. You can leave now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.